Jesus, he's falling around the gaff.
Do you think I come up the lagging in a bubble?
I know where I'm putting Daddy's sauce.
Hang on, can I submit my confession?
Welcome back, Middlers, to Meet in the Middle podcast. I'm Danny.
I'm James.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jake.
And we are the podcast where British and Irish banter collide, bringing you chaotic laughs, bizarre confessions, and a whole lot of questionable life advice. And for our final episode of the season, we are absolutely delighted to be joined by a special guest. So he is a man who makes a living absolutely messing with people's heads in Ireland as a psychological illusionist. And if you were ever walking the streets of Waterford around 2010, there's a very high chance that this bloke probably ambushed you outside a shop with a deck of cards to practice his mind reading. He has been dubbed by a local paper as the Irish Houdini, a massive compliment that I'm sure he's absolutely delighted about us bringing up a decade later. So from card tricks in the pub to giving half of Ireland genuine psychological trauma in sold-out shows on Spike Island, please welcome Dean Jacob.
Hey!
Yes.
How are we getting on?
Welcome.
Doing good, doing good. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Much better spending it with you, of course, the Saturday evening.
Oh, thank you.
That's the
Yeah.
right thing to say.
See, I'm already in your head. I know exactly what I need to say.
Oh,
Oh, no.
God.
No. Do I
No.
feel like some sort of like weird vibe connections coming through the internet right now? No.
Just can't
that's
look into your eyes.
Well, let's get into it then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So let's cut the fluff. When you're not actively wrecking people's heads being the Irish Houdini, who actually is Dean Jacob?
Oh,
Quite an introvert, believe it or not.
Okay.
really?
Yeah, you wouldn't think it, but yeah, I think one of my favourite things to do is just cuddle up with the dogs and herself and watch
Oh,
Criminal Minds or something like that. You know, I'm not much of a. I used to be a very going out person, but I think as I got that little bit older, I just appreciate being at home and stuff like that a bit more.
Yeah. The home
Yeah.
comforts.
Okay. How old are you now?
I turned 34 in May.
Okay.
There's only a month
That's
between us.
young still.
I
though.
turned 34
No
in
way.
June. Yeah.
yeah, we're the babies. Me and James are the babies.
Yeah, all
I'm
right.
33 this year. Dean, tell us about growing up in Waterford. What was little Dean like?
A dickhead.
Yeah.
I like the
Why?
bluntness of that.
Why?
He was very much younger. Me was very much shy. You know what I mean? Like he really found it hard to make friends, and I think that's why I gravitated towards magic.
Okay.
It was a way to have people start a conversation with someone, especially when you didn't know how to.
Yeah.
So having a deck of cards in your hand, it gave me kind of like leverage to start that conversation.
Brilliant.
But then when he got confident in magic, that's when he would purposely go out of his way to torment people. And then when I started reading minds and things like that, it spiraled
Oh,
out of control.
Are you an only child, or do you have like brothers and sisters?
No, I have a
or-
little sister. Yeah. I say
Oh.
little sister. She's 30 now, but
I'd say she was tormented growing up.
Yeah.
you have no idea.
So what was your gateway into magic? Was it like an obsession with a Paul Daniels magic set, or like the rest of Ireland, did you want to saw your man half?
Do you know what? I think my first real introduction to magic was Keith Barry. Another
Oh,
Waterford
okay.
man that, you know, he proved, like, we went to the same school and everything.
No way.
Yeah. There was enough years between us that I didn't actually interact with him, but he proved, you know, that you could make it. You know what I mean? You could do this for a job and get out there and make a living. So he was the first inspiration I really had. And I remember that Christmas I asked for a magic set. And it was literally just one of those little Marvel magic sets with
Yeah.
the hat and the bunny that came up out of the hat and
Yeah.
all of that kind of
And the
stuff.
cups.
And it spiraled out of there then. Do you know, I learned how to do those tricks, and then I was taking like the simpler ones with the cups and balls and making it bigger and making it my own. So I'd make rugby balls disappear under buckets and things like that. And
No
I knew I
way.
was onto a good thing when I was able to impress the adults more than I was the kids. That's when I knew,
Yeah.
right, okay, there's something here.
Yeah. Well, talking about adults then, like, be honest, how quickly did you figure out that you could use all these kind of skills and magic to manipulate your parents to get out of trouble?
I wish it was sooner than I really did. Even to this day, my mother will cop. I can't keep that from her. She has seen everything I've done, and she'll go, "Yeah, that's bullshit." She'll catch me out every time. Can't do it.
Moms
She
know.
reads minds, she can
Moms
read
know
your
everything.
mind.
They're
Yeah.
the original magicians. They're witches didn't die out; they just became mothers.
Oh,
They all know your little secrets. They've got magic spells and powers as well, and they know how to use them.
And they're always bent over a cauldron.
I thought you were going to say something else, sir. Jesus
No,
Christ.
Get your mind out of the gutter. We're not that type of
Fucking
podcast.
hell. Bent over who? What?
Oh.
Jesus.
Before it goes out of hand, Rach, come on. But at what point from going from that magic set, and did you move into the whole psychological warfare side of things instead?
I think I was about 16 when I learned about psychology, and it was actually in secondary school that I learned about it. Because I think there was a subject we touched on, and we touched on Houdini, and that's how I got into the escapology and things like that. And then later in his career, Houdini became obsessed with psychics and fake psychics and exposing them. I heard about that. That's when I was like, okay, it might be worth looking into the psychology end of things. And when I started, I just fell in love with it. It was the idea of being able to walk up to someone and do something without having cards or anything like that, because that way then you're kind of walking up to them with a blank slate. You know what I mean? There's no trick being expected because you have nothing. Do you know what I mean?
So the mind is a weird place, weird, wonderful place, but you describe yourself as a psychological illusionist rather than a magician.
Mhm.
What's the biggest difference between the two?
So if someone, so typically a magician, because I still do magic, but I like to think that when someone sees me perform, they'll see a deck of cards in my hand and they'll be able to tell the magic from the psychological stuff. The psychological stuff, I could walk up to someone and have a conversation with them. I don't need cards. I might need a notepad and a pencil or a pen just to get notes written down, but I don't physically need anything to achieve those results. Whereas with cards, you know, you need sleight of hand, and you know, some magicians, they'll use coins and things like that. So with the psychological illusions, you're really playing into the mind, and you're using people's natural instincts against them to achieve the results that you're displaying. But with cards and magic in general, you can get away with a lot more because the hand is quicker than the eye and things like that. Whereas when you're dealing with the body, you're looking for the micro expressions. It's a little harder to hone in on what someone is thinking than if you don't know what their card is and you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Isn't there a bit of a crossover though? Because like at the heart of it, you have to use conversation or those types of like speaking skills to either distract from magic or use the speaking skills. And I don't know if manipulate's the right word, but
misdirect.
Absolutely, yeah. There's five. I always say there's five things that you need to either do magic or psychology end of things. It's magic, suggestion, showmanship, confidence, and a set of balls. Because you need to be brave and you need to be not afraid of being wrong. Because like I could get up in front of 100 people tomorrow and do something and it will flop because it's not an exact science. You know, you never really know exactly how that effect is going to play out when you're dealing with someone's mind. But when you've got a deck of cards, you kind of know what way it's going to go. But you can't always be so sure when you're dealing with the psychology end of things.
Sort of leading on from that, I want you to tell the truth and shame the devil here. How much of a live show is prepared and how much is just you winging it? Because you can read a room better than we can read an autocue here.
In a live show, like a stage show like Spike Island, it's pretty much, I know what I want to achieve, but there's no planning. There's no actors, there's no stooges, everyone that comes up. And that's why if you come to the show, I use like a soft ball and I turn my back and I throw it out behind me shoulder. And whoever catches it, they're not the first person to come up. They throw it again. And then it's that person. So I never have control about who comes up on stage.
Right.
That's good. That's a good tactic, isn't it? Like, instead of actually picking someone who you feel or vibe off,
it keeps it
you've
very
no
random.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your work kind of, even though there's magic involved and psychology, it kind of is based more on that rather than the supernatural, even though it may have supernatural elements to it. So why are you so allergic to the supernatural? Did a ghost owe you money or something?
He does actually, the cunt, and he knows he does. And I hope he's watching. 300 years I've been waiting for that fiver.
Imagine the interest on that, the inflation.
I always, I did touch years ago. I did touch on the paranormal and things like that, and I always found that there was a lot of resistance in people. Because a lot of people genuinely believe in the paranormal. And I'm not saying that there isn't, ghosts or demons or any of that kind of stuff. I'm saying that I'm not 100% sure, but I know what I believe. Now, I know in saying that as well, I wouldn't be confident enough in my not believing in ghosts to fuck around with Ouija boards and all that kind of stuff, because there's that 1% chance that I'm wrong and something comes home with me and then I become the next Netflix documentary. That's not what we want. I've heard a lot of different stories, but I suppose my job is to, I'll never be able to prove that ghosts don't exist. And I probably will never be able to prove that they do exist. But I just always find it hard to do what I do in a paranormal way, if that makes sense, unless I go down the route of playing the psychic and saying that this information is coming to me via a spirit. Do you know what I mean? Which is something that I've worked quite hard on to remove from my show and to say, regardless of what you've seen me do here on stage, I have no special powers. I am not talking to your dead cousin. Do you know what I mean? Twice removed. This is pure psychology. And I think that's what's always kind of made me step away from the paranormal end of things. I'll always, especially when you're performing in a haunted style prison.
Yeah.
In Halloween, I like to touch on it, and I always like to leave that little bit of suggestion out on the edge. But when you come to the shows, you'll see that it's more aimed at showing people how easily they can be manipulated and how easily our brains will just believe in something because they've heard it or seen it versus those actually being the cases.
Well, look, Dean, as someone who manipulates brains for a living, do you ever catch yourself using these tactics to win petty arguments at home? Because if so, I need notes.
When I come off stage, I switch it off, and I don't. I'll always, there's sometimes now where I'll do something or say something just to kind of get aroused or just to have a bit of a laugh, just to wind her up. But 9 out of 10 times, she will get one over on me faster before I get one over on her.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you're almost kind of you sound a bit like an introvert extrovert. So you're extrovert when you're working, and then as soon and it's great that you can switch off that kind of work and pleasure thing, but then you go back to being that kind of introverted person.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. I remember one of the earlier times I was on stage, a friend came to the show, and I think it was the first time he'd seen me perform, and he said, "It's amazing." He said, "There's 2 Deans that live inside you." And I'm looking at him in the green room going, "What the fuck are you on about?" And he was like,
2 Deanies.
There's 15 versions of James.
Yeah, there is. Not telling you too much here, Dean, but sure, maybe you can figure him out. But there's about 15 personalities in James.
I'm the same though. I'll be like an extra.
2 versions of Dean.
Yeah, 2 Deanies.
Yeah, so he said there's the Dean that performs on stage, and then there's the Dean that comes off stage, and that's backstage and in our everyday lives, and he's like, they're two different people, which was mad because I didn't see that. Do you know what I mean? It was just, I was on stage and then I was off stage, whereas he was obviously able to see it.
So, Dean, can any fucking agent learn to do this, or do you need a specific, slightly unhinged type of brain to do this stuff?
You need to be a particular kind of dullard to do this. You need to have no childhood, no social skills.
Right?
Really?
No, I'm only messing. No, anyone can learn it.
Oh, you're going to say yes.
Yeah, no, anyone can learn it.
Well, one is
No, yeah, you can pick up psychology books. I think the biggest thing that you'd have to overcome is given the time to practice, sit down, learn the techniques, learn the way that you need to speak, your pattern, your tone, and then go and practice it and just get used to failing. I think that's the biggest thing, because for the first easily couple of years, I was learning how to do everything and it was brutal. I nearly gave up a couple of times because I just consistently was getting things wrong, and it was because I was looking in the wrong place for the wrong signals, or I was using the wrong tone of voice or things like that. So yeah, if you have the time and the dedication, you actually want to go and do it, absolutely anyone can learn to do it.
right. Well, we are dying to see if you can read us, Dean. So, looking at the four of us,
Oh my God.
we need to settle this. It's a running debate. Who is the absolute easiest mark here to influence?
To influence?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, who would I most likely want on stage to influence?
Look at Jake trying to be as straight as you can. Straight faced.
Do me a favor,
He's
right? What I'll
afraid to
do
be
with
off.
each of you is, we'll start James, Danny, Jake, and then Rachel. One at a time, I want you to look deadpan into the camera and say the first number comes to your head between 1 and 10, any number.
I know what numbers you want, and I'm going to say 5.
Interesting.
7.
Uh-huh.
6.
2.
Interesting. Okay, so the most common numbers that we would look for is 5, 7, and 3.
Oh,
Really?
If you say 5, 7, or 3, it's going to be really easy for us to influence it.
So I'm the hardest influencer then.
To influence it, yeah, but I think you'd be the easiest to read.
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, my face doesn't, like, I can't tell lies.
Why am I getting something like numbers like 111 or 222 around you, Rachel?
All the time. All the time.
Oh. Is that why you went with 2?
That's why I was thinking. I said 2 is like 222. Something to do with angel numbers, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. Wow.
Oh.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps here.
Mm.
Yeah.
What else can you get from her?
How do you do that?
Do me a favor, Rachel. Just look into the camera for a second.
Maybe not.
Start saying the alphabet out loud.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O.
New Orleans. What's something
Q.
about New Orleans?
Fuck off.
We
It was
went
like
to
it
New
just
Orleans.
flashed in your head. It was like as you were counting, because that's why I get you to count. It distracts your conscious mind and it allows me into your subconscious. I just saw New
Right.
Orleans flash up and something about a dick, something spotted dick.
You did. No, you've told him
didn't
to
say
do that.
anything.
No, I specifically said to the lads, don't tell me anything about anyone. And I
No,
tried-
you're
that-
having me
that's an
on.
inside
This is
joke
not.
with us.
Nah.
No.
Nope.
No.
Not having it.
I tell you what,
You
right,
should have. Stop playing that music. Stop playing the music, James.
No.
It's annoying.
Suspense.
Fuck off.
I'm gonna write something down, right? I have a blank card.
Right?
Okay.
I'll keep it in frames so that I can't swap it out for anything else.
Right.
Do you know what? Imagine that I have 3 imaginary objects. So imagine there's a... Do you remember you used to be able to take the batteries out of the mobile phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine I have a mobile phone battery,
All right.
a box of matches,
All
and
right.
a packet of bubblegum.
Okay.
And as if you were about to pick one of those up and put it in my hand, which one would you pick up and put in my hand?
So what was it? A battery out of the phone?
The battery,
Bubblegum.
the matches, or the bubblegum?
Matches.
Matches?
Okay. Mix the other 2 up in your head. So you've got the mobile phone and you've got the bubblegum. Just
Right.
mix them up in your head, okay? This time as if you were going to throw one of them at me. Which one are you going to throw at me?
Battery?
The battery. That leaves you with...
The bubblegum?
No way.
Right.
That's mental.
That is. I like how Rachel's trying not to believe.
Right?
Right. He's trying not to give any micro expressions now.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But you give me 3 options, so you kind of made me choose. When I give you them all first before the bubblegum. So how?
But you could have chosen
Any.
you could have chosen battery or bubblegum to throw, and you chose the battery.
Yeah.
So that was the only other. That was what it was.
The only other one. Right, okay.
Because I was thinking, well, maybe it's because of it's like a choice, but it still wouldn't work because
Yeah.
it's the
Whatever
question
you
ask.
handed me, I was eliminating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you would have handed me the bubblegum would have been eliminated. So it would have
Right.
been wrong.
Okay. Get you. Takes me a while for me to get these things.
Yeah.
Who is overthinking every single syllable you're saying right now, Dean? Like, who's overthinking shit? I know you're probably reading me, but probably me overthinking.
Well, I'm
Or is there any
trying
other
to,
ads,
but
something?
I said New Orleans and I don't know what it meant, or spotted dick. I know it was spotted something. I thought it was spotted dick, but I wanted to. I didn't want to be. I wanted to be sure.
Well, we went to New Orleans and we were just talking about it
Before we came on.
this.
Yeah, literally just before we came on.
Yeah.
So
And
unless
there
you
was
were in
spotted dick was
New
mentioned in New Orleans.
That's
Interesting.
wild.
I don't know if you want me to tell you any more, or don't know.
I doubt I'll get the rest of it. So you can tell me the context of it if you want.
You sort of stopped whenever I went MNO, so you said New Orleans when I went O. So we were in New Orleans and we went to a reader, and it was kind of a cold reading. Me and James were in the same room as the one guy, and it was kind of a cold reading, and he said that my granny made a famous dessert and spotted dick.
No, was that 2 separate things? She made a famous dessert and then spotted a few dicks.
So that was the thing. But I'm now thinking they've told you about this and this isn't true, so don't know.
No.
Hand to God, they're not. They're not after telling me anything. And I specifically said, because I haven't spoken with any of the lads, bar I think 5 minutes before I came on. I got Dave to send me on, my manager to send me on James's number, and I texted myself
Yeah.
and I said that I was having trouble with my camera. I'll be on in 5 minutes. But other than that, I have had no contact with any of the lads, bar the call
Yeah.
we had the last time. That was it.
That's really weird, really, because it's one of the things we talk about and nobody knows about it. Like, it's not on social media.
No.
It's not being posted. The reading's not being like advertised anywhere. It's not anywhere you could find it. So it's just between us 4 and our family. So you wouldn't really know.
You mentioned that a couple of times, Rachel, though, like last week as well. So I wonder if like that's still at the front of your mind and that's what you picked up on.
I said
you
before this,
have.
wonder is he going to pick up and spotted dick?
And he did.
You have.
And you just did.
Now she's trying to not think of all her deepest, darkest secrets so you don't get them.
Yeah.
Well, we'll not
She's
go
getting
there.
worried now.
I think since James is the skeptic, I might have to dig into him a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say, who's like thinking this is just absolute bollocks, Dean. Go on. You think it's
Well,
changed.
I'm thinking it's absolute bollocks for a start, but that doesn't matter what I think. I think, honestly, what I'd love if I had the choice is I'd love James on stage. I'd love to have him on stage because I think the reaction when he realizes how impossible the real experience is, I think that'd freak him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be up for that. I wouldn't even call myself a skeptic. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Aware
Well,
of
no,
what?
Just like aware of like misdirection and stuff, and like we were talking about the numbers, I knew it was all going to be the odd numbers that he's looking for because you're more likely to do the 3, 5, or 7. So I went with the one in the middle of the 3.
Okay.
I'm a wee bit stunned. I'm a bit like, that's why I haven't really given much. I'm a wee bit like, what?
Well, look, forget reading us, Dean. Can you give the listeners something juicy? Like, teach us one borderline unethical trick that we can use to manipulate to get our mate like to buy us an extra round to the pub or something.
Ooh. Okay. Let me think. I'll tell you what. I'll show you a card trick that you could do with it.
Yes.
At least that way, then it's something that everyone would have. I have a deck of cards, all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, normal deck of cards there.
So what you would do is you'd have someone select any card they want. So let's just say it's that one. Doesn't matter if I see what it is.
Spades, right.
When you get them to cut the deck, so they'll cut the deck maybe there. They put it down there.
Mm-hmm.
7 goes in. You take a look at this one here. So whatever one is going to be above their one. So in this case, the 8 of spades, right? So they put that on like that. You can cut the cards now as many times as you want, and you will not separate that 7 and 8 of spades.
Really?
Absolutely. But at any time, I can go through and I can see that after the 7, I'm looking for the 8.
Yeah.
There's the 7.
There's 7.
So the minute I see the 8, I know their card is next. So then I'd say to someone, you know, if I'm able to find your card in this mixed up deck, and they'll feel it's great because they've cut the deck as many times as they want. Then
Is that for certain though that it will never split? Because I bet you on me, it would bloody.
No, it's just cutting the deck. It's astronomically small that they would separate those two.
I've actually learned that trick myself, and then what I'd normally do is I'd put their chosen card on the top of the pile and get them to like do that with their fingers, and I've actually got.
Oh, you'd slap it down.
Yeah, slap it down, put it in between their fingers, slap it down, and that's the one card left in between their fingers.
Yeah.
I knew about the looking, but I didn't know about the swapping.
No.
Changing so many times.
As long as they don't,
So
as long as they don't go like this, and they don't take up clumps of cards and do that, they literally have to cut them like this. So just pick up a piece and put it to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because the chances of them hitting those 2 cards is astronomically small.
Slim. Yeah.
That would make much more of an impressive trick than the actual trick.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that out on these guys.
And then he's going to snap when he can't do it.
Yeah, that's true. I will.
I'll just get a drunk video call. How do I do it?
Talk me through it again.
Show me how to do that, Dean. I want to show my mate in the pub.
So, Dean, we spoke about like the challenging the paranormal and like psychic claims, and you mentioned hot reading or cold reading. What is hot and cold reading for the listeners that don't know?
So, cold reading is when you go into a situation where you know nothing about the person you're sat opposite, and you throw out what are called Barnum statements. So Barnum statements are statements that could apply to anyone. The broad range of those statements, it means that it doesn't matter if you have 10 people in a room, 9 of those people will make sense of one of those statements. You know, it's like me saying to one of you that, you know, you've got a lot of friends, but only 3 or 4 that are really close to you that you really trust. That could apply to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Or you've got a large group of people around you, but if there's only 3 or 4 that you really feel that you could trust to tell anything to, maybe one that knows more than even the other 2. Because as I'm saying it, Danny is nodding his head and Jake was nodding his head and Rachel, you're going to let it make sense to you. It's the same with the horoscopes. That's what they
Yeah.
do, that you find in the papers and stuff like that. They're
It's like a
statements
relatable,
that,
isn't it?
yeah, millions of people have to read those columns every single day, and the psychic is not just pinning out you; they're trying to ping on as many people as possible to go,
Yeah.
Jesus, that's me, and then ring the fucking line so they can get your money. So that's cold reading, is when you genuinely don't know anything about the person, and you go in and you throw out statements that could apply to absolutely anybody. Whereas hot reading is where someone will go and research you beforehand,
Right.
and they will know all of your secrets, anything you put up on social media, maybe a profile or something like that, and they will build their reading off that. So they'll build a script. And they'll say, oh, James, when you were 13, I'm getting the vibe that you fell off your bike or something like that. And let's just say that genuinely happened to you. Or, for instance, they'll look up your... a lot of fake psychics, what they'll do is they'll actually look up your Indeed or LinkedIn page, and they'll look at your accomplishments, and they'll look at what you put on it, and then they'll
Smart.
call back to those in the reading.
Why do you think grown adults are so desperate to just believe like in that side of things?
I think it's the want to have something to believe in.
Yeah.
I think we lose so many beautiful beliefs growing up. Santa, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, all of those things are kind of ripped from us as we become adults. That when we become an adult, then we're so desperate for anything else that we can believe in that we'll latch on to anything. You know what I mean? And I think when it comes to something that makes people as vulnerable as death and loved ones, I think it's that vulnerability that those fake psychics and mediums cling to. And I'm not saying that all psychics or all mediums are fake. It would be wrong of me to do that, because I've not seen or met every psychic or every medium. But of the ones I have seen, which is over 150 at this stage, they all use the same techniques that I use, but we do it better.
Yeah, I can completely vouch there, because when we had the reading in New Orleans, Danny, you were in the room with me, and the psychic touched on like a dead granddad, and I think then they must have hooked on that, because that got me completely, and then I was theirs.
Oh,
basically.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If the minute they feel like there's a hit, that's where they're digging. They're not looking for any other information. That's where they're going to stay.
Another thing that I noticed they always do on cold readings is they'll say like a grandmother figure. So if their grandmothers are still alive, they can say, well, no, this isn't your direct grandmother. It's a grandmother figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll blame you. They'll say, look, you've had a lot going on today. This is all very exciting. You're not used to talking in front of an audience. Go home and think about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to think about someone I don't know.
Interesting. Well, look, it definitely sounds like you are not afraid to call out some of the fakes out there. Is there any time like you've ever come across like an aggressive run-in, or like has anyone ever tried to put a curse on you in the middle of Tesco because you've called them out?
I did have a time where Jehovah's Witnesses weren't happy with me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're never bloody happy anyway.
I was doing magic in a place called Red Square in Waterford City, and it's just a square where their shops. It's where typically teenagers and stuff will all go to hang out and things like that. And this is going back quite a few years. I was young enough at the time. I was doing street magic and stuff like that. But there was Jehovah's Witnesses across the way, and they were watching me. And they genuinely thought I was the devil. They didn't want anything to do with me. They didn't even want to look at me. I went over to try and show them a few tricks, and they just started praying and backed off slowly.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So nowadays, when I pass them or anything like that, and they go to try and stop me, I go, sorry, Church of Satan, and I just keep walking.
Oh. Dean, we mentioned Spike Island earlier. Can you just tell the listeners, what is Spike Island?
Spike Island was a prison. Well, originally it was a British fort. It was a military barracks for prisoners that were being deported to Australia. And then at the time of the Civil War, it was used by the British Navy as a fort. and then it was used to house IRA soldiers and stuff like that. And then when it went back into Irish hands, Irish governmental hands, it was used as a prison until 2004, I think.
Was that recent?
Okay.
That recent, yeah. So much so, like a couple of the shows last year and the year before, we've had prisoners come back to the island to visit and to see the show and stuff like that.
Oh,
Jesus.
that must be
Oh, wow.
mental.
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
So now you're doing shows on Spike Island. How did you convince the public to pay money to be locked in this fucking prison with you on a Friday night?
A great deal of hypnosis. No, it was actually it was weird because I had come off COVID in 2023. Like in 2019 was probably my most successful year to that point, because I had done the stunt, holding my breath underwater for 4 minutes, to escape 40 feet of chains, hand and ankle restraints, and 50 kgs of additional weight. And I was dropped over 6 feet into a pool and told to get out, basically. So that
Didn't
made...
Houdini do that as well?
Yeah, it was a little homage to Houdini, and it was my first proper big escape. So that got national attention. The Sun picked it up and stuff like that. I think the lads on RTE2FM were begging me not to do it. They said, no one will judge you if you pull out. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. And then the Sun picked it up, and all of the other newspapers picked it up. So I did that, and then I was invited on Ireland AM. So I went on Ireland AM, and then I got a call then from 2 guys in Vegas that were Irish, that were promoters. So they brought me over to Vegas for a week. I opened my own show there. Thankfully, I think it sold out 3 weeks before I got there.
No way.
That's incredible.
Which was just mental. So came back on that then, and the same lads that brought me over, it was like a trial. They brought me over for a few days just to see how it would play out. And one of them, as I was leaving, turned to me, he was like, I'm telling you, man, 2020 is going to be your year. Such a heap of bollocks.
I feel you. I had tickets booked for Coachella that year as well. It was the first and only time I bought tickets, and I cancelled.
March 2020, I had 40 cancellations in 1 week.
Wow.
Never seen anything like it. But then the girl that had covered the escape rang me, and she said, all right, so we know you can do these big mad death-defying escapes, but what else can you do? So I said, I can predict your newspaper headlines a month in advance. And she was like, oh, can you now? And I was like, yeah. So I went up with a cash box. Yeah. And it was filled with envelopes, but I kept the key. I gave them the box, I kept the key so they couldn't look at it. And I said, we'll arrange Monday of next month. I'll come up and we'll open it. The editor that had agreed to this piece had said to the girl that booked it, he was saying, like, he was fully sure I was going to get everything wrong, because he was supposed to be there on the Monday. But then he went on holidays on the Friday, so he wasn't going to be there to see. So he actually told the girl that was going to be there, the girl that brought me up, ring me when he's gone and tell me how badly he fucked up. That's the level of skepticism you were dealing with journalists. It was brilliant. I fucking loved it. So I went up. They wouldn't let me touch a thing. I handed them the keys. They took the box out. They undid the box. They opened the envelopes, and lo and behold, the full page of predictions was there. It matched their full front page of the paper, and it was the most satisfying phone call to listen to when she had to ring the editor and say he got everything fucking right.
And was it the Friday paper you matched with, or the Monday?
The Friday paper.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what really blew him over the edge, was the fact that they had switched the days last minute, but it still turned out right.
Dean, how much of heavy lifting is done purely by the fact that they're in a terrifying location before you've even opened your mouth?
Every single bit. It's half the battle, really, because their senses is so heightened already. Do you know what I mean? Because when you buy a ticket to the show, included in that ticket is your ferry ride over, because you cannot access this island by car. It has to be by passenger ferry. So you get on, and there's only seats on the ferry. You can't bring your car or anything like that. And then you're brought over, you're marched up the top of the hill, and you're divided then into 3 groups, and you go on an hour's tour of the actual prison. So you get to go to places in the prison that is not accessible to the general public.
I love it.
And you
That's
do
good.
that at night. So it's
I
pitch black.
love it. I'd shit myself, like, but I love it.
And you were told all of the stories, all of the horror stories that have happened in there, from when it was a barracks to when it was a prison. And then you're brought into me for the best part of an hour for the show, where we delve into the mind and psychology and all that kind of stuff.
What's the most bone-shaking reaction that you've had from an audience member when you've done these shows on Spike Island?
Oh,
No,
I had a big bodybuilder cry.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, like this fella, he was definitely a shoe-in for, the world's strongest man, fucking Eddie Hall, is it?
Yeah.
The big, huge, buff, big bastard. Like, he'd make Dwayne The Rock Johnson look like an ant. Do you know what I mean? And he was up, and you could tell. I was in 2 minds about whether or not to use him, because, like I said, everyone that comes up on stage is randomly picked. There's no way I have any control over it. And I saw him come out from the audience, and I went, "Oh fuck." Because I was like, if this goes well, he's gonna knock me out. If I get it wrong, he's gonna knock me out. Either way, I'm at the wrong end of a fist. So he came up anyway, and he said to me straight away from the start, he said, "I don't believe in this shit." So he came up quite defensive and all the rest of it. But I won't tell you what I'd done on him, but I started revealing things about him, and then I put him in a trance, essentially. And I told him things that would happen in his head. And he believed these things so much, he was sweating. He was bald, but you could see the beads of sweat running down his head. And then when I took him out of the trance, he just started crying.
No way.
And I think his fiance, I don't know if they got married since, but his fiance at the time, they came up to me at the end of the show because, like I said, with Spike Island, you have to get a boat over and back, and they were on the last show of the night. So I'm actually on the boat going back with ye as the last group of the night, with the tour guides and the staff. We all leave together. And his fiance came up, and I thought she was coming up to give me a smack because I had just made a blubbering baby out of her fella. But she came up and she said, "I've never seen him react like that in my life." She said, "It's just so out of thing for him." And he came up and he was white as a ghost. And he said, "Whatever you done to me," he said, "I genuinely believed I was possessed by the devil."
No way.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you use a bit of hypnosis as well on stage, do you? To put him in a
Yeah,
trance?
it's called black hop hypnosis. So it's a waking hypnosis where all you're doing is listening to the tone of my voice and how repetitive it is and how slow it is and how kind of monotone it is, and it can slowly transform you, like it puts you in a trance without you even knowing. And it's things like this that it's one of the reasons why I stepped away from doing hypnosis. Was one, I started getting known as a hypnotist. I'm not a hypnotist. And 2, it was the closest thing to mind control I genuinely saw. It was terrifying. I did an experiment years and years and years ago in the shopping centre in Waterford City at a shop called Shake Shack, which is not there anymore. But I had a girl hypnotized, and I told her, I put a phone in her hand, and I told her it was a gun. And I told her she was going to go in and rob the guys in the shop. Now, I had the guys in the shop set up, so they knew what to do. They knew that if she came in and waved her phone around, they were to give her the money as if it was a real robbery. And she did. She went straight into that shop. She looked the owner in the face. She put the phone up to his face and said, "Give me all the money." And she came out and she gave it to me, and she had tears in her eyes from doing it. But the minute the money left her hand, she forgot ever doing it. And her expression just changed, and she went completely stone-faced, and I woke her up out of it, and she was completely fine. And she forgot ever doing any of it. She didn't remember the money. She didn't remember the gun. She didn't remember any of it.
See, it makes me think
Ooh.
like you have to think about what kind of frame of mind these people are in, because I can imagine like on Spike Island, they've done a tour. There's already that kind of heightened sensation in their body, or, you know, the fear and the fright. And maybe that's how you know, that kind of had an impact into how you made that grown bodybuilder cry. But have you ever pushed a stunt so far that you've actually regretted taking it too far?
Ooh.
No,
Okay.
because I think when I put the set of the show together, when I put the skeleton of the show together, I kind of know exactly what I want people to do and how I want them to feel and things like that. So I look for the most outrageous things I could make someone do, and then I think about how that would fit in the storyline and the environment that I want to build. So I don't think there's not much that I would say I would push someone too far, if that makes sense. I always kind of keep a leash on how far I allow someone to go before I pull them back.
The only reason I ask is if you think about like the example you just gave around the girl with the phone and holding that could be perceived as quite unethical and a bit triggering if somebody had like past trauma of something like that. So there is like is there a bit of like a thin line that you have to be thinking about behind, you know, some of these illusions?
Yeah. I suppose when you come to a live show like this, you know, I think I have a responsibility, as does any performer, to make sure that people feel safe in that environment, especially when you're delving into things such as mind control, mind manipulation, psychology, and things like that. And obviously, if someone knew in themselves that there was, like, it would be quite time consuming if every person I came up with, I stopped and I said, do you have anything that's going to So what I would like to think would happen was I would allow the person to kind of know where we're going to start and where this is going to go, so that if something did flag in their memory, and there's always that option as well, that you don't have to come up on stage, and I make that very clear when I'm throwing the ball out. If you if you catch that ball but you don't want to come on stage, pass it to the person next to you or throw it again. There's never any judgment. There's never any pressure on you being that person to come up. But I do kind of say at the start of the show that when you do come up, I am going to fuck with you. I'm going to be in your head. I'm going to make you think I'm in your head. I'm going to create those kind of moments where you're lying in bed and you'll sit bolt upright at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, how the fuck did he do that? That's my job. And I 100% agree with and understand and appreciate people's right to not want to be the butt of that joke or a part of that. So that's why I think I like to try and make it very clear at the start that if you do not want to come on stage for any of these things, there's no pressure to do so. Just pass the ball to someone else, because there's always some crazy person next to you that is willing to do it and we'll have a good laugh with.
Yeah. I mean, there's almost that expectation as a participant or a customer at those types of shows that that's the type of, you know, silly things that you're going to put yourself into. So yeah, totally get that. And you can't, like, you know, check every person that you're bringing up, like, I'm going to do this joke or this thing, and is that going to be triggering? It's hard, but it must be really difficult for you as a performer in that illusionist space when is not knowing who, you know, you don't know anything about the person and what they might have gone through, and just curious as to, like, you know, how you deal with
I think it's very important as well to kind of remain vigilant of the person that you're performing on. And if you see anything that gives you any kind of concern or any thought of concern, you pull them straight back out of it before they even have to say anything, and you send them back. Like, that's one of the things about what we do as in the psychological aspect, is we can kind of see where someone is going in their head, and we can pull them or direct them accordingly. Do you know what I mean? So if I feel like they're not going to react right to something, I'll pull them out, and instead of pointing out, I don't think this is going to work on you, or I don't think this has gone the right way. I would play it down and I would do something different that it doesn't, like, to the person watching, it makes no difference to what I was about to do versus what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nobody
That
would
person
know.
gets to see something amazing. The audience gets to see something amazing, but we've completely passed that path of problems or issues.
Yeah.
you know?
What is the actual psychology behind that? Seeing somebody who's apparently a rational adult, like the bodybuilder or that girl with the mobile phone, actually seeing them terrified and broken.
That girl in particular, it was funny. I remember her coming up to me because I had been, that particular day I had been booked to do an opening, like a birthday celebration for that business. And so I was just there doing card tricks. I hadn't planned on hypnotizing anyone that day, but she had seen me do the card tricks and all of that kind of stuff. And I think this is easily going back to 2010, 2012. And she came up and she was like, "This is all bull." You know what I mean? It's fake. It's all tricks and this, that, and the other. And I said, "Okay, I could hypnotize you." And she said, "Yeah, go on, hypnotize me." Do you know what I mean? Make me see.
And you're like
fucking...
20 at this point as well, aren't you? Like, you're early 20s.
Yeah. I think it would have been around 2011. So I would have been between 18, 19-ish time, 20. And I hypnotized her, and I think the first thing I made her do was forget how to speak. So she couldn't talk. I would touch, it was like a mute button. Anytime I touched her throat, she would lose the ability to speak. So she'd be here talking to you, and next minute I'd just tap here and she'd just go.
No way.
There was nothing coming out. So it started at, that fun, lighthearted thing. And then I built it up because her friends were recording her. And she was like, she's going to say she was playing along. And I was like, okay, I'll give her something that she could not play along with. So I put her into that really intense situation of feeling like she was robbing somewhere. And it was so hard hitting that when she came out of it and we showed her the video, she didn't believe the video. She thought we'd faked the video.
God.
And I was
This
like,
is
how could we
before
fake?
AI.
This is before any of it. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at her going, this is you robbing that shop with a mobile phone. Do you know what I mean?
And knock you 3210. You probably could rob a shop with one of those. Wouldn't want to smack of that.
No.
But I do remember, like, I think it was after I had woken her up that I kind of went back to her, and obviously I made sure she was okay and realized that this was all in her head. That, do you know what I mean? She did nothing wrong. There was no one after being hurt. Do you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's what's terrifying about hypnosis.
Well, what I liked with you there is also you started light-hearted with something, and then it goes into something more drastic. So you're able to pick up, I guess, how people are going to continue if I can continue on a hypnosis or mind-bending things with them. You'd see how comfortable they were. If they're uncomfortable,
pull them straight out. Yeah. You have to, because you have a responsibility as a performer to look after the people that are making you look good. Do you know what I mean? I could be the most talented fucking psychological illusionist magician in the world, but without a spectator, we're no good. Do you know what I mean? So you have to look after those people.
Well, we're going to talk a wee bit about you, Dean, the day that that everything changed. So at 21, you nearly lost your life. Can you take us back to what actually happened?
Yeah. I was, after moving into a new house, I had been renting an apartment, moved into this lovely house down in a place called Waterside in Waterford. So it's literally on the side of the river. And I think it was only my first few nights in there, and I was wearing this really baggy pair of tracksuit pants. And I went up, it was the first time in any house I had rented or anything like that where I had my own bath. And I was fucking delighted. I was like, I can have a bath. Because you know yourself, when you're rented, 9 out of 10 times you get a shower. And you're just, it's not the fucking same. So I went up and I went to run a bath. And in the process of turning on the taps, I heard one of the lads knocking on the door downstairs. So I went to go and answer it. And what I didn't realise was the baggy tracksuit pants were hanging half off my arse. So what happened was I stood on the leg of this foot's pants and tried to
Yeah.
lift this leg. So
Right.
it got
Oh.
stuck right at the top of this
Oh, no.
lovely stairs, and I went head first straight down the stairs.
Oh,
And keep in mind, at that time, I was weighing in at over 400 pounds.
Wow.
yeah.
So
Wow. Okay.
that was a big boulder coming down the stairs to Indiana Jones. I came straight down on the foot, which sent it right up through the knee.
Oh.
And I just remember screaming in pain. And the other fucking Egypt knocking on the door looked through the letterbox and went, "Oh shit, I should ring his mother." So she rang my
Thank
mother,
God they
but
were
I had to crawl myself over to the latch to let
Yeah.
them in. So I managed to crawl over, and then, you know, typical mothers, she went, "Your leg is not broken, there's no swelling, get the fuck up. It's probably just sprained or bruised or whatever." So I stood and I meant to put weight on the leg, and I just went straight down again. And she was like,
Oh,
"All right, maybe it
God.
is broken." So
Oh,
I went
no.
out to hospital, and they x-rayed it, and at first they thought that it was just pinhole surgery, really, but they done a CT on it, and they said that they were going to have to open the leg up. And I was like, "Why? I thought it was just pinhole." And he was like, "No, we're going to have to open it up to see how many bits you're after making of it, because when they looked at the
Oh,
CT,
wow.
it had just shattered." Apparently, you only ever see these kind of injuries from high-speed car crashes. So the
How fast did you go
doctor,
down those stairs?
yeah, I know. The doctor reckons that it was a combination of the steepness of the stairs plus the weight that I was carrying. Now, he said
Right.
the weight that I was carrying, it both saved my life but also made the injury worse, because he was like, if I had been slimmer, I probably would have broken my neck with the way that I'd fallen.
Right.
But so the fat kind of acted as a cushion almost.
Yeah.
But then it was the amount of weight that was coming down on the leg
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Went into
blew
millions
it
of
out.
pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, and your mom made you stand back up on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't brought that back up to her yet, actually.
Wow. No, I think definitely bring that back up.
Repressed trauma. They had to reconstruct the top of the tibia. I was in hospital for 4 days, and then they left me home on crutches. I had never been on crutches before in my life, so this was all new. I had 20 staples in my leg because they couldn't sew it properly. They couldn't stitch it up properly. So they stapled it, and then a few weeks later, I went out to get the staples out of my leg. And the doctor that was taking the staples out, he felt my calf muscle. And he said, "Your calf muscle feels very hard." He's like, "It's probably very unlikely, but we'll get you scanned to make sure you don't have blood clots in your calf." So
No.
because it was after 5 p.m. on a Friday, they had to readmit me because radiology was closed. So they said, "Look, you look clear, but we're going to treat you as if you had a blood clot." So I had to go out every night at 7 o'clock to get an injection into my stomach of blood thinners, basically to thin the blood. I went out on the Monday when radiology opened, and they scanned me from the hip down to the toe. Gave me the all clear, "You're fine, go home, don't worry about it." Yeah, it would have been the Friday night after being in radiology on the Monday, and I couldn't breathe. So my face went white, lips went blue, and I'm a stubborn. I wouldn't go to the hospital. I said no. I said it's fine, probably just a panic attack. Don't worry about it. And then by that Tuesday, it was gotten so bad that if I so much as sat up in the bed, I was actually blacking out from not being able to breathe. So I was like, "All right, okay, let's go to the hospital." The triage nurse that was assessing me looked at me and said, "Are you always this grey?" And I went, "What do you mean?" And she showed me in a mirror, and I was physically grey. I went, "No, that's
Wow.
new. That's what that is." So because I had a heart murmur when I was born, they said they were going to scan the heart as well as the chest just to see what was going on. So they told the mother they were readmitting me through to the hospital. So she went off to get pajamas and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I think she was only gone about 5 minutes. And the doctor came back in and said to the nurse, call his mother and get her back here. I said, why, what's wrong? And he said, you have to go to Dublin, he said, for emergency open heart and lung surgery. He said, you have massive blood clots in both lungs and 3 out of the 4 chambers in your heart.
Wow.
I laughed. I started laughing in his face.
Really?
I think it was
gonna
just the
ask
shock.
you, like, were you not terrified?
No, I think
Yeah.
it was the shock.
At
I just
that
started
age,
laughing. And this doctor, like, I'd say he was easily in his late 50s, early 60s, and he's looking at me with tears in his eyes. And he said to me, he said, Dean, look, he said, between now and when your mother comes back out, have a good think about what you need to talk to her about, because he said, if you make it through the surgery, he said, or if you make it to Dublin, you won't make it through the surgery.
No way.
So
Sorry.
Wow, that was
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hit up my mouse.
Danny's near tears.
James.
Sorry, I was back sessions. I didn't mean that.
Oh, James.
So
You're a nightmare, wee lad.
by the time my mother actually got turned around and got back out, I was already being loaded into the ambulance. And when I knew that it was serious was when
the change photo.
He's a dead. For fuck's sake.
It
We're
was
talking
not
about something
intentional.
really fucking serious here, and all I've got is abracadabra in my mind. I'm so sorry. Oh my
sorry.
god.
We are professional, honest.
We're not. Oh, God.
they put a defibrillator on my lap, and they sent an anesthesiast and a trauma nurse up with me and put me in an ambulance, blue lights and sirens the whole way to Dublin. And actually outside of Naas, we met a Garda escort to get us through the traffic.
Wow.
And it was like a scene out of Grey's Anatomy. A lot of the surgical team were waiting for me at the doors, and they just rolled me in and rolled me straight down. There was no checking me in. There was nothing. Straight down, and they put a line into the artery in my wrist. Apparently, that was to stop everything working at full capacity, and it was to stop the clot from breaking off, because if the clot broke off, the only other place it had to go was my brain, and that was dead then. You know, you're just not coming back from that massive aneurysm. So they were wheeling me down to the theatre, and they rang me mother so that I could talk to her, because she was on the way up, and I hadn't had that conversation with her. Like, by the time she got back out, I was already getting loaded into the ambulance. And I was on the phone to her, and I was just getting to the point, you know, where you're saying, look, everything will be all right, don't worry. And the line cut out. So one of the theatre team, one of the surgical team, Aisling, she went back outside to get my mother back on the phone, and she said to me, mother, do you know, is there anything you want me to tell him? She said, just tell him I love him. But by the time Ashley had come back in, I was already asleep. So I never had that conversation with my mother. So the surgery lasted itself. It lasted for 9 hours, and for 1 full hour of the 9, they couldn't keep me alive. Every time they would go to progress, my heart would stop. So they were trying for the best part of an hour to keep restarting my heart. And then they said they were going to do it one more time, and that if I had gone that time, they were going to call it. So I managed to stay back that time.
You were clinically dead.
Oh, I was clinically dead for the best part of an hour, yeah.
Jesus.
Every time they would get arrhythmia back, I would go again and again and again, and they said they would just try it one last time. And apparently the only reason they tried it one last time was because the surgeon didn't want to have to come out and tell my mother her 21-year-old son was in the next room dead. So they tried it one more time, and I came back and stayed back. And then they came out and they told my mother that they would have to put me in a medically induced coma for 4 days to allow my body to heal.
Wow.
And that when they go to wake me up, I was 98% likely to have a massive heart attack or a stroke. Because essentially what they had to do was take out my lungs, take out my heart, clean them all out and put them back.
God.
So 98% likely to have a massive heart attack or a stroke. And that if either of those things happened, I would either be in a vegetated state for life, or I would just pass away. So the poor mother wasn't living on much hope. Do you know what I mean?
Must have been terrifying.
So they pumped me with enough drugs to keep me asleep for 4 days. She was able to come in and see me, and they had tape over my eyes. They had tubes down my throat. They actually had wires in my neck. And I managed to wake up 7 hours later myself, despite all of the drugs, despite everything. I scared the shit out of some poor nurse that was taking me vitals. Here's a cunt meant to be asleep for the next 4 days, and he's looking at you going, take this fucking tube out of my mouth, will you?
What a thing to go through. Wow. At such a young age as well.
I'd feel incredibly guilty if I was your mate knocking on that door. I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're coming to the end, Dean, so we want to know what is next for you. What projects have you got coming down the pipeline?
Well, I've got Spike Island this year. Brand new show. So this one is going to be called Convictions.
Ooh.
Is this an exclusive? Meet in the Middle exclusive?
It is, yeah.
Ooh.
We haven't announced the poster or the name yet. So.
Yes. We'll have to share a little screenshot of that here.
This year's show, it's very much, it's one where I'm going to really delve into the psychology end of things. I think I'm going to, my aim for this year's show is to push myself to do stuff that I've never done before and to delve as deep as I can into the world of psychology and see how far I can really push people's minds.
Ooh.
I like that.
Okay.
Give us a pitch on that, like this year's Spike Island run. So why should people like be willingly wanting to go? Why would you want them to go, and why should they go?
Curiosity has consequences.
And put
I like
themselves
that.
through it.
That's a
That should be
tagline
the
right there.
slogan.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Conviction.
Curiosity has
has
consequences.
I think it's actually on the poster. I think it was one of the first things we came up with. Curiosity
Nice.
has
Love it.
consequences.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So you'll come because you're curious, but I've got things in the pipeline that will genuinely make you question reality if they all go
No
well.
way.
Because it doesn't start when the show starts. I'm going to be everything from the very first time you think about coming to see the show, be that when you see the poster or hear the name, there's already a seed being planted in your mind for the show.
Love it.
I like that.
But it'll only be revealed at the end of the show.
Oh,
I
okay.
love it.
I love
And the
that.
fact
I
that
love
it's
the
on Spike
suspense.
Island and it's got like this immersive
Atmosphere
kind of
and
experience.
yeah.
Oh, it sounds brilliant.
And if any of the listeners are going and you're sitting next to a bodybuilder, don't embarrass them.
No.
I don't think I'll ever see him at a show again. I think he got the fright of his life.
I can imagine so.
It sounds incredible, Dean. Look, to kind of round this whole thing off then, like when you finally come to the point where you're going to pack it all in, do you want to be remembered as a master of human psychology or just a bloke that gave half of Ireland a panic attack?
I'd be so happy if I was the fella that gave half of Ireland a panic attack.
It sounds like you've done it already, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen nothing yet. With the stuff I have in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess you always do have to kind of think about how you're going to reinvent yourself and what's the next big thing I'm going to do. So it's great that you're already kind of thinking of that. And yeah, conviction sounds brilliant.
That and I have no boundaries. I'll happily get buried alive or wrapped in chains and
God.
thrown into the ocean.
Love it.
Bring it at me.
Love
I don't
that.
care.
I want to watch it with my popcorn. Oh, he's in the water.
Watch that last bubble come up. Watch it. Watch.
Well, Dean, we're going to do a quick fire round. So anything I asked you, just give me like one word or a couple of words,
Ooh.
just quick off the mind. So first one, psychology or magic?
Psychology.
Biggest myth about the body language?
It can give away everything.
Favorite movie about the mind?
Patch Adams.
One thing people always get wrong about you?
That because I have a lot of tattoos, I'm scary.
Is your brother?
He's the big old cuddly teddy bear.
Most terrifying venue?
Spike Island.
If you could read one person's mind for a day, whose would it be?
Donald fucking Trump.
Wasted.
Gonna be huge.
Biggest fear?
Spiders.
One psychological trick everyone falls for.
The bubblegum trick.
Finish the sentence. The human mind is.
Weird.
Nice. Finish this sentence. Dean Jacob is.
Weird.
I love it.
Brilliant.
And then, Dean, the last thing we normally do is we normally share a track that we would add to our Midlers soundtrack, which we have on Spotify. So if you're wanting something to listen to, maybe on your ferry journey over to Spike Island, or something to get you in the mood for the event, go and listen to the Midlers soundtrack. We're not adding a track this week because we have our special guest, Dean Jacob, who is going to add a track to it for us. So what track are you choosing to add to the Midlers soundtrack,
This
Dean?
is a really weird one, but I promise you will enjoy it.
Okay.
Do you know the metal band Lordi that won the Eurovision?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made this unique friendship with Johnny Logan in the most
What?
recent Eurovision, and they did a cover of "Hold Me Now" by Johnny Logan,
They did.
Oh,
and
no
he
way.
did a
The
version
Eurovision-
of "Hard Rock Hallelujah" from them.
No.
Okay.
So go listen to
Okay.
either of them, but Johnny Logan's "Hold Me Now" by Lordi is fucking fantastic.
Go
It's
listen to
going
that.
on. It's going
Brilliant.
on. You can listen to it by going to Spotify, searching the Midlers soundtrack. It's also in the description of this podcast as well. So go and give it a listen. Right, that is all we have time for in today's episode. Thank you for listening and watching with us. A massive, massive thank you to you, Dean, for coming on
Thank you,
and
Dean.
completely
Ooh.
scrambling our brains for the last hour.
Yeah.
If you want to willingly subject yourself to some psychological torment, and honestly, why wouldn't you? You absolutely have to go and check out Dean's Spike Island Halloween experience, Conviction. It's going to be immense. And if we can get along, Dean, trust us, we're going to try and make it happen.
Yep.
You can grab tickets for that and all his other upcoming live shows. Dean, where can they do that?
So tickets for Spike Island is at www.spikeislandcork.ie.
Lovely. And we'll put that in the description for you as well. And also make sure you go and follow him on all his socials as well. Keep up with what he's doing next. Where can they catch you, Dean, on your socials?
At Dean Jacob Mentalist on everything.
Love it.
Perfect.
Now, as for us, that is officially, guys, a wrap on this
Aw.
season of Meet in the Middle. Can
Oh.
you believe it? So
Wow.
the four of us are now going to take a bit of time off in the summer to recover, but we'll be right back on your screens and in your ears on the 2nd of October. In the meantime, don't miss us too much. Go back, have a listen and a binge on some of our previous episodes, and make sure that you hit follow, like, and subscribe on all of our socials so you don't miss the updates for the new season. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in October. Bye.
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 Bye.